Most of you know him already, as he's one of the people who have been working on the Horizen sidechain SDK since the very beginning, and he has produced a couple of videos during the release of Alpha some time ago. So today we would like to update you on the status of the Lambo registry sidechain. And with that, not only do that, but also tell you what's coming next in relation to that. This is the first example in the Horizen ecosystem of a sidechain with some custom logic and data. So that's very exciting. Please, Alexander, welcome.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Luca.
Hey.
It's a pleasure to be here. So a few days ago, we published the code of the Lambo registry sidechain in one of our public repos on GitHub. So that is completely visible now. And if you would like to look at it, you're welcome to do so. This is the first iteration of the development, and we plan to keep developing it in the future and also to introduce some new functionalities there. So, but what is our Lambo registry sidechain? It's the first standalone application to be created leveraging our sidechains SDK, and the purpose of it is to show an example of a blockchain application that can be created with our SDK. It demonstrates how the SDK can be extended. So in particular, how to set up the project, how to introduce custom transactions, boxes, propositions, and proofs, how to define API to do custom logic operations, and for sure, how to let SDK manage all this custom data.
Cool. Sorry if I interrupt you for a second. That's very interesting. How will this Lambo registry sidechain work? What is the logic we have implemented already into that?
Okay, so for our Lambo registry sidechain, we have possibility to tokenize cars, or let's say Lamborghini, within the sidechain by providing main car attributes like vehicle identification number, the model of your Lamborghini, year when it was produced, and so on. And another major part is the possibility to sell your car within the sidechain to a possible buyer. So to do this, car owner needs to create the car sell order where he specifies the price for the car, buyer's information, and other parameters. Later, the buyer can accept this sell order to purchase the car. Owner will receive the payment in Zen coins, and buyer will become the new owner of that specific car. And what is important is that sidechain rules will make that operation happen in a safe and decentralized way.
Well, that's very cool. This in a safe and decentralized way, yes, as you just said. And of course, Alexander, this is just one example, right, of the capabilities of the SDK. But in reality, we can have a lot of other use cases which can be similar to this. For example, real estate tokenization. So tokenizing your real estate property instead of your car or Lambo. But also very different use cases. For example, decentralized insurance and so on. You name it, really. And in the recent months, I've seen a lot of use cases related to DeFi, so decentralized finance. And for example, also all of them could be implemented in our system as well. So a sidechain where users can ask for a loan or deposit cryptos and earn interest on them. Would you agree with this?
Yes, for sure. I think that our sidechain SDK is flexible enough to address very different use cases, like the ones you were just mentioning. Again, this Lambo registry should just give an example to developers about, say, how to build a decentralized application with our technology. So I hope that it will inspire them.
And you have mentioned developers. Now, I know that you are not only a developer, but also a movie star, right? And just kidding. But
right.
I know you are going to shoot a new technical series of videos related to how building a blockchain application. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yeah, we're already producing the first video, and in this video we will have an overview of the main elements to be developed for a custom logic introduction, and we will take the Lambo registry sidechain as an example in those videos. So not only the code on the GitHub was published, but there will be also this series of videos where we'll show how such kind of application can be built by any developer.
Cool. Sorry, I was looking at the GIFs of Lambos that are being posted in the channel. I also know that the related documentation is in review. What I am speaking about is the expansion of the documentation of the SDK and the documentation about the Lambo registry sidechain. So hopefully our heapers will find all of this interesting. Please feel free to give us any feedback because for us it's always important. That's it. Thank you, Alexander, for joining us today.
Thank you.
And back to Angie.
Awesome. Thank you guys for this very exciting news. Let's continue with Alan for some more interesting news.
Hello, everybody. I'm going to talk a little bit about the exchange staking feature that is coming about. We're going through the code review process on that right now, and we have a target of getting this out hopefully for the next 2 weeks. And some detail about this is there's going to be a standalone tool that'll allow you to create a stake verification request that is sent to the tracking servers. And then the tracking servers will take care of that request, validate it, and that will prove ownership of a particular stake address. Now, the intent of this is to have exchanges, to give them a simplified process to be able to put more than one stake in one stake address. And this is also going to be able to be used by other people beyond just the exchanges. And there is more detail for this in the Ask the Team channel of Discord if you'd like some more details on this, but we'll also be posting more detail as we get closer to the release. That's it for now. Thank you, Angie.
Thank you, Alan. Let's continue with Spencer for the Helpdesk updates.
Happy Thursday, fellow teammates and Horizen enthusiasts. Today's Helpdesk status is for the 6th of August, 2020. Our customer satisfaction score over the last 7 days was a handsome 4.8 average rating on a scale of 5.0 based on a significant user reuse of 13. There were 70 tickets submitted to the service desk in the past 7 days, rather evenly split between the faucet and wallet support. Common faucet issues, typical report VPN usage by faucet users, the whitelisting of accounts where appropriate, verification of addresses for the sweet HODL bonus, and as usual in places like Nigeria and other resource scarce locations, duplicate IPs in such localities where there are scarce IP addresses supplied by the local service providers. The most common Sphere by Horizen issue was assisting with wallet recovery using the seed phrase. Next was account or wallet corruption and recovery from that condition. That concludes the report from the help desk. Back to you, Angie.
Thank you, Spencer. Let's continue with Jonathan to give us the growth updates.
Hey, everybody. Happy Thursday. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. So this week we basically were focusing on a lot of back-end improvements on the growth side. So for example, one of the things we're working on is improving our email provider. So this seems like a kind of a trivial task, but one of the things we learned is not everyone who was requesting emails was getting the emails. And, you know, this is a reflection of the email provider. And once we learned this, we took steps to correct it and improve our what's called delivery rate of our emails. So all these kind of little tasks that, you know, you wouldn't really think are that important actually can make a really huge impact when you have tens of thousands of emails going out a day. So hopefully by next week, that should be done and improved. I'm also happy to say that the Blocks Jump game is on our testnet, and we'll be sending out links this week to help to request community members and team members to help out with the game. I've already played it myself. It looks great. It's really exciting, and I'm very excited to get this live to the community. So if you're not in our Discord channel, please join, and you'll be one of the first ones to know when it's live. Lastly, we're going back through the Academy content, and we're looking for ways to make it more easily digestible. There's a lot of great information. I've read through a lot of it. Sometimes it can get a little bit overwhelming, and so we're figuring out how can we take all of the amazing content and make it a little easier to read. So that's going to be an ongoing project over the next couple of months. If anyone has any suggestions, please reach out to me. One of the things we're considering is even putting it into an ebook format and putting it on Amazon for free. So anybody in the world can simply download the Horizen Academy content, read it, learn about blockchain, and just improve their education at no cost to them. So that's it for me. Gustavo, anything from you?
Not really this week. As you mentioned, all the work going on is pretty much everything on the back end, so nothing customer facing. So I think that's all for this week.
Great. Thank you, guys. Let's continue with Rowan for some BD and operations updates.
Thanks, Angie. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Just a short update from me today. As was mentioned earlier, exchange staking is one of the biggest priorities, at least for the BD team at the moment, and certainly getting a lot of support from infrastructure and engineering to make that happen. We are getting really, really close to being able to announce the next exchange that will be supporting Horizen nodes. So very excited about that. Unfortunately, today is not that day. Which is a little bit frustrating because I've been talking about it for quite a while, but we are getting very, very close. Now going through some testing, and we'll then move into a phase of testing with the exchange partner, and then we'll be able to tell you exactly who it is and how you can get involved. So looking forward to providing updates on that in the not too distant future. Beyond that, top priority remains exactly the same, reaching out to top tier blockchain development houses, educating them on our tech stack and trying to persuade them to add Zendoo, add Horizen sidechains as a product offering alongside their existing solutions. So I'll be pulling in the engineering team for a couple of different calls in the not too distant future. We have some vacations coming up, so we're trying to squeeze in these calls before they happen. And it's great to hear Alexander's voice on this call. Super, super cool. And I'm sure we'll probably try and pull him into one of these calls reasonably soon as well. That at the moment is an update that doesn't really say a huge amount, and I'm very aware of that. But unfortunately, that is my update for today. And I will provide more detail on exactly what we're doing and where we're going in the coming couple of weeks. Vano, if you want to jump in with an update, please feel free to do so.
Hello, everyone. I have been to update the data and analysis.
I hear you.
Not sure if it's just me, Vano, but you're super quiet.
Yeah, a little bit far.
Is it better now?
That's a little bit better.
Yep.
So I have been focused to update our information across the board in data and analytics websites, and updating information about us, promoting HD, heap, updating our repos there and stuff like that. And we have also mentioned analytics websites last week, and we are working still with them, and it is still an ongoing task. That's all from me.
Thank you, guys. Let's continue with Lucy for the marketing updates.
Hello, everyone. Happy August. And it has been 3 weeks since we launched our sidechain beta. So the number of developers interested in our technology is growing every day. And our early adopter program, aka HEAP, is growing and playing an important role of helping us improve our products. So we were able to identify and fix, our awesome engineering team was able to identify and fix some issues early on, thanks to bug reports from our HEAP members, and some of them successfully launched their own sidechains. So we also have a community. We also have community developers helping others to build sidechains on Horizen. Also, so our community developer from France, Mass Cryptos, published a series of Horizen sidechain tutorials and show people how he created his first blockchain on Horizen. How to do Zen transfers between sidechains and main chain, how to set up sidechain nodes so other people can do the same more easily by following his tutorials. So the original tutorials are in French. Our team member Manon helped translate the tutorials, and then we will publish them later today to share with our community. So thank you very much, Mass Crypto and Manon, for your contributions. So as our engineering team is finishing up our first demo application, the Lambo registry, is just introduced by Luca and Alexander, and we are finishing up the documentation. So meanwhile, we are working on a series of videos, tutorial videos, to show the build of the registry, the car registry, to provide more guidance and information so everyone else can also build their own applications. So in order to receive, get early access to these videos, and then also an invite to a live webinar, make sure that you joined our HEAP, the early adopt program, so you will get those notifications early on in real time. And so make sure that you do that. And the other thing is a for security alert. So recently there has been a large number of scam Facebook pages. Unfortunately, as we I guess as we get more and more famous, we have more people. We're more targeted by scammers. So again, we have it's just another reminder for our community members to always pay attention to the name of the page that you are visiting, the website that you are visiting, and then also the handles, the social media account handles that you are visiting, and make sure they are our official accounts and pages. And then do not click any suspicious links. And then another reminder is that we will never ask for private keys or ask funds from our community members. And if you find anything suspicious, don't click anything, and then report them, and then also alert our Horizen team as well. So just be careful out there. And then also we will reshare the security guidance on our social media feeds. So take a look and check it out if you haven't seen the security guidance. Lastly, some updates from our Chinese community. So our community manager Guan has been really busy evangelizing Horizen in the China market. So he recently had an AMA without partner Node Easy for a larger group of communities in our in the Node Easy side, and then also our community as well, and talk to them about our recent sidechain developments. And the participation was very well received. And then also right now he is attending an event hosted by Cointelegraph in Guangzhou. It's the blockchain week in Shenzhen. And then he's meeting a lot of interesting businesses and also projects within the industry. So he's very busy, and then hoping to hear some exciting news from him. And that's it for me. Thank you. Back to you, Angie.
Great updates, Lucy. Now let's welcome Rosario for Product and Engineering.
Hey guys, I've been super funny today, in case you haven't noticed. But but I wanted to emphasize the delivery of the Lambo or car registry, and this is such a critical step because it'll take it'll take the simple app and allow developers to see how they can extend the SDK and build an application. So this is a very important step, and that's why we're dedicating resources and with developer time, and also pulling in other team members to help with the documentation. So we will have the first iteration of the documentation next week publicly, and we welcome your feedback. So this is going to be still, I'm sure, very raw, but we will refine it together as a community. So welcoming any feedback once we have that published. And then Luca, I'm not sure that you mentioned any updates on the SDK memory leak.
No, not yet. So in relation to that, we have posted messages in the sidechain channel. There is a memory leak. We have identified, also thanks to a community member, can't remember the name unfortunately, that's basically preventing sidechains that are created, that are launched on the parallel sidechain parallel testnet to, let me say, continue in their operations, because they go to the state of seized, so they become seized sidechains when this memory leak occurs. We are actively working on that. That's considered a top priority for us.
Yeah, and I will say that the community member is, I'm not sure that I'm pronouncing it well, but Kikabun.
Yeah, Kikabun.
And so the important piece here is that we had already identified the issue, but it was hard for us to replicate. So the additional information that Kikabun provided for us really helped us replicating the issue and able to identify the source issue. And from what I understand, the issue is split into two. So there's the RAM issue that's been fixed and is in testing right now. And then there's further investigation on memory leak. So it's great news, great collaboration from the community. And I wanted to thank Kikabun for that. Regarding HTE, I want to give a shout out to Ponta, and I believe he's on the call. Thank you for being one of our first submitters of an HDE task. So this is fantastic, and I'd like to thank you for that. And our very own Vano, he also completed a task on HDE. So thank you so we have two tasks, or one task that's completed, and there's a second one that's near completion. So we will be updating the website accordingly. Right now we have 5 active tasks, and we have 7 developers actively working those tasks. So that's great news. And Lucy didn't mention the HDE heap numbers, but we have over nearly 800 developers that are interested in our SDK or directly wanting to learn more. So this is a great indication of the SDK. So we'd like to keep that going and keep the developer start having the tools in place to make the lives of a developer easier to start building applications. That's it for now. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Rosario. Rolf, would you like to share any updates or words of wisdom?
Thanks, Angie. Sure. There's a feel for y'all have been in the crypto market for a while that things are getting more exciting, and there's more interest, more projects. And Lucy, you mentioned it, that there's more scams because there's more popularity, and people are seeing more and more about us. And this is a fun time to be in the industry. One of the things that can sometimes happen is when you start a project, the whole world is your oyster. Everything is available, and it's really exciting to start something new. And then when you start building it, it can bog down a little bit, and you're making slow progress. And then after, for us, for years of slow progress, building the team, writing the applications, making improvements, dealing with issues and problems along the way, then you build something wonderful, and you really have something to be proud of. And we're on the upside of that curve now. We're delivering the sidechain applications. We're getting lots of developers interested. So I'm very happy to be part of this, where we've gone through the kind of boring, difficult part, and we're making strong progress right now. And we see part of what's hot in the industry is DeFi stuff. And I look at these DeFi projects, I'm like, wow, that's interesting, that's neat, new ideas. But then I also sit back and think, those guys have a long road ahead of them. They haven't gone through, someone attacking their system or running into the issues, or having to deal with a team on a long-term progress and building in project management, program management, how to get users, how to keep users interested, how to integrate with all the other tools that are out there. There are so many things that are involved in making a successful project, and we're right on the cusp with unique, deliverable applications that have real application in the real world, and we have the team and experience to make it happen. So I just, as we have these weekly discussions where there's, sometimes it can seem like there's small progress, sometimes it can seem like there's big progress. I also want people to have perspective that where we're at right now is a really good place. That's what I got. Thank you, Angie.
Thank you, Rolf. And now let's welcome Rob for the final part and Q&A session.
Thank you, Angie, and wow, Rolf, that was extremely well put. Thank you for saying that and just putting things into context for people. A quick shout out, guys. I think this is a huge bullish signal whenever we get Trollolino back on these calls. So that's pretty cool. I'm surprised Rosario didn't mention it. That's like her favorite thing to do is Trollolino spotting. Thanks for coming back, Trollolino. We love you. Okay, not to reiterate this too much, but Lambo Registry for us is a really big deal. It's not just a fun little app, but this is the first step in a long pile of work that we know that we have to do of making the SDK more useful. And this is coming with the first round of documentation. So like Alexander said, and by the way, I love that you're on this call nowadays, Alexander. Let's make this a regular thing. We can't wait to see the video. But you can now actually check out the code for the Lambo registry. It's available on GitHub. On Monday is when we're targeting actually doing some announcements around that, as well as you guys will have the first round of documentation. Again, we're not content with where we are. This is a deliberate. We released a beta product as an early stage beta, and hence the appropriate labeling. Beta preview originally, and then a beta. But the point was we wanted to get the code out there for the community to actually start looking at. And developers in the HEAP program came on deliberately early. And this was the whole idea was this was an early adopter program. This was not meant to say we have a production ready product to get out there and take it and run with it and it's going to be easy. What we wanted the first round of HEAP developers was just the early rounds of testing, and hence the appropriate tasks of just deploying a sidechain with the SDK, and then just let us know what went wrong, what went well, and let's learn from it. And that's exactly what we've been doing and what we're going to continue doing. And the subsequent tasks are going to be more nuanced on actually extending the logic for the SDK into the application domains. So a lot coming there. The video tutorial is going to be another big help for developers on actually being able to see how to go into the SDK and extend the logic for an application. And then from there, we're going to be working with other developers, and we want to hear from you. We want the feedback. We for sure don't want to be in a vacuum. And the whole point of getting this stuff out there was to get that feedback. So let me talk a little bit about partnerships and use cases, because Rolf mentioned that this is truly the most exciting time to be part of this project, because it has taken us years to get to where we are. We are an extremely mature team, as mature as it can be with 3 years of operating. We know that we still want years and years of more maturity to be built into how we do business, but we're pretty good right now, at least from my perspective on how we execute things. We will be constantly improving, but in terms of this industry, we've learned a lot, and we've suffered a lot over the years, and you, the community, have suffered with us. And not all for naught. We've just released the big breakthrough that now we want to take to market for actually interesting real-world use cases. So that, at this stage in our lives, centers around partnerships. And the types of partnerships that we're cultivating are those that are appropriate for this stage in development. So we're looking for developer shops that can work with us as design partners for taking the tech and extending it. So we're not, we're not taking this product and just dumping it out to the world, expecting people to use it without additional support. We need or want those companies that are willing to also put their own skin in the game, their own sweat equity, and work with us. And we're very happy to work with them. So the more the better. Then we have some really good ones. We had a nice call earlier today with another software company in the U.S. where we're looking at just a broad engagement that will be on the design partnership side, but also working on special projects that will be interesting once we can scope those out a little bit more and make some public announcements on them. So more to come, but the point that I want to make here is we've just recently crossed this very important threshold by getting Zendoo out there in the beta phase, mind you. So since then, though, we've been racing for putting together substantive deals that actually have meaningful output. And that's what we're working on now. And these types of deals, guys, in the crypto world, we're used to things just being instantaneous, instant gratification. We all fall for it. And I think our weekly calls here, where we're in weekly contact, kind of feeds into the crack addiction of just constant updates, and you want to see constant movement. Well, real deals in the real world take time, and we're talking on the lower complexity things, the order of weeks, and the higher complexity stuff, it takes months to actually hash out meaningful deals and scope them out before we're ready to do some PR around them. But deals are coming. Make no mistake about that. Very interesting deals are coming, and extending interesting products using Zendoo are coming. And we're very excited about them, but we, like always, we've learned from our own mistakes in the past. We don't want to preemptively talk about things until they're actually matured. Deals have been inked, and we actually commit resources to making things happen together. So all that to say, we have a lot of BD activity, basically an explosion of BD activity ongoing right now. So more to come over the coming weeks, and certainly over the coming 3 to 6 months. This is going to be a completely different project. And I think right now, my Taylor expansion joke, my math joke that I say probably too often is every exponential curve looks linear if you're looking too closely. And that's what I would say about us right now is the project has fundamentally changed post Zendoo. I just don't think that information is evenly distributed. And even with this community here, and even with our own team, I would say, and even sometimes myself, that reality hasn't fully sunk in. And that reality is not going to really sink in or be more evident until we actually see the results of it, until we see the significant expansion of activity in our blockchain ecosystem, in our community, with our developers on our GitHub, and then ultimately with products that go out there to market. And you have companies built around our technology getting out there. But that day is not far from where we are, and we've crossed a significant hurdle. So guys, even though it may not seem that way right now, this project is different, and the next 3 to 6 months are going to make that very obvious. So one thing we're doing to support that reality is we are launching this, what I'm calling a shock and awe campaign on the marketing side. This is just laying the foundations for getting the PR and the marketing infrastructure in place to get the word out that this is a fundamentally different project than it was even 2 months ago. So now we're scaling back up the PR and the marketing infrastructure to start getting the word out about who we are, what we're doing, and why it's so important for the industry. And to put things in context, we've been spending something like 5% of our budget on marketing thus far. And just the way that we do marketing has evolved significantly over the last 3 years. And we talk about 3 years like that's a long time, but that's insane, right? 3 years is the drop of a bucket, or whatever the appropriate saying is, but 3 years is not forever. But over just a 3-year period, we've pivoted several times on how we do marketing. And the most recent way of how we've done marketing and what we're getting out of now is we had a very limited budget because we didn't have what we considered a core differentiator that was big enough to actually get out there and start investing money or significant amounts of money into trying to promote. Now we have Zendoo. So again, in this post-Zendoo world, we actually have something that we need to get out there, and we need to make it more known in just the crypto community, but also going beyond that to people that could be actual users of the technology for different businesses and different applications. We have to make what we've done known to them, and we have to invest in that. So we are. And I'm very proud to announce that we're now restarting our engagement with Waxman PR. That's the first step, because now we have this pipeline of different announcements that we're going to make over the coming months, and we have to get that PR infrastructure back in place. So we're just starting that now, and look forward to the upcoming announcements that will be feeding into it. But going beyond that, we're going to be doing a ton of marketing into the DApp domain, or the application developer domain within this industry, and then even across the industry. So we're going to be working with different chain accelerators on different types of business development channels that we're going to be cultivating. We're going to be working with hackathons, very targeted hackathons to targeted DApp developers, and a bunch of things along those lines, just to get the word out there and start really expanding what we're doing, because now's the time to do it. Now's the time that we should be proud, and we should start getting out there more. And let's see, that's it. That's all I had in my notes for today, guys. I'll stop here, and we can open it up to any questions.
Great. Thank you, Rob. So a lot of people voted. Thank you for reading my message, because I was bothering you all there. So I see a lot of very interesting questions, and I think we can do the top 3 and maybe break the rules a little bit more this time and go for a couple of 2 more. What do you say about that, Rob?
Angie, I like your idea there. Let's do it.
Awesome. Okay, so the first one is, will there be any adjustment to block reward after halving to secure or supernode operators? Will it stay at 10%?
As of now, there are no plans to adjust that. Obviously, we can face that reality when it comes, but we don't have a magic ball where we can see exactly what's going to happen, because the reality is there's a required rate of return for people that run nodes. Depending on the reasons for why you're running nodes, if you're just strategically trying to support the project, you have a different, say, decision calculus than someone that's here purely for that return on investment. But let's just say that everyone has some internal required rate of return that they're looking for. That's ultimately based on the total economic value of the payment. So even though the Zen amount of the payment is going to be cut in half, that's just the reality of what the halving means. That doesn't mean that the economic value of that is going to be cut in half. So the market will see how it adjusts between now and then just afterwards. But as of now, we have no plans to adjust the economics of the payouts.
Awesome. The next one is, what prevents another project like Zcash, for example, from taking and using all the sidechain work and code? And do you see this as a threat?
Nothing. So nothing but organizational inertia, really. So every project has their things that they're working on, the things that are important for them, and their own roadmaps and strategies. As of right now, I don't know of any top project out there or competitor project to us that is actively looking to take our technology and run with it. Now, that we are in this reality of an open source world, and we came from the open source world where we're leveraging the technology that was first built by Satoshi and then the early developers of Bitcoin all the way through Zcash, right? And that's the legacy that we come from, and we're contributing back to that open source world with things like GingerLib, with Zendoo, and subsequent developments. As of now, we have no plans not to make them open source, and everything we've contributed thus far is open source. So I think when it comes to competitive modes, it often comes down to strategy, the ability to execute. So this is why I think Rolf's talk today was so important. And Rolf, maybe you want to chime in a bit more on that. But not everyone, even if they were to just take our code and copy paste it tomorrow, could actually execute that into a functioning ecosystem. So a lot of the soft and tangible things that we've been doing on organization building, ecosystem development, actually bestow us with some sort of competitive mode that isn't exactly quantifiable, but is for sure meaningful. Rolf, do you have anything you want to add on that?
Yeah, I wanted to add on to that, because I think it would be a great thing if other projects took our code and copied it and used it. First off, it would show validation that we've created something so valuable that other folks want to use it. The next thing is that code is not a static thing. We have a version of the code that's published out there. We also have the architects who developed it and the software developers who wrote it and understand it at such a fundamental level that the continuous improvements that are going to be happening over the next few years to the code, and then the inevitable issues that come up whether it's a security problem or a scaling problem or things like that, our team understands the code at a fundamental level, and it is going to be ahead of any other team that's using the code out there. You see this in reverse. We started out as a fork of Zcash, and the Zcash engineers continued to add improvements at an ever rapid pace. And people that want to follow other projects' code base are doing just that. They're following it. And then when there's an issue with the code, they don't have the engineers that have the fundamental understanding of that code to be able to improve it. So having other projects fork the sidechain code and use it is beneficial, not only because it validates it, it gets more people using it. And I think most people in the industry know that the original software developers are the ones that really add the value to it because they understand it. And if it's copied and used, there might be the sidechain code might be extended in other ways, which gives us the opportunity to pull those improvements and extensions back into the original code. So it gives us essentially free software development effort for other projects to fork the code and use it. So I see only good things from happening that, and I hope that other projects do fork the code and integrate it into what they're doing. And then to repeat what Rob said, we already have built the machine that is able to use the code, get it out there, get people using it. And if you're going to build on sidechain code, do you want to build on the original project that developed it or on a copy project? Do you want to build on the original? So we have all sorts of benefits coming from it. Thanks. That's what I got.
Awesome. Next one is short and sweet. When hackathon?
That's funny. Actually, maybe Rosario can answer that one.
So the precursor to the hackathons was this car registry. So once we have the car registry, we'll be having a webinar in September. So we are thinking in the September-October timeframe is when we would kick off a sidechain or app building competition. But that's forthcoming, and we, like I said, we need to have that car registry out and have people, have developers take a look at it, absorb it, and come up with great ideas for our hackathon.
Great. Okay, so on the plus side, the first one is, are you concerned that large crypto YouTubers don't discuss Horizen?
I would say not concerned, but definitely want them to. And the attention that we're trying to do now, and maybe the shock and awe should be called FOMO campaign, Lucy lovingly calls it. The reality is we need to get out there. And maybe Lucy, if you want to comment on this from the marketing perspective, we know that we need the project to be out in more of the mainstream crypto media, and also that obviously extends to influencers. We've done so in the past at different points with different influencers. And for sure, we're going to be accelerating that. So, Lucy, anything else you want to add?
Not much, Rob. You've summarized really well in early on during your final thoughts that we are doing a series of campaigns working with other projects, and then just get our message out. And I think the reason that people are not yet talking about Horizen or what we are doing is that they haven't heard about us, and then they if they know about us, they don't know enough about us, and then so we want to make sure that they learn about us and get our name out. Once people know about us, I think they'll find our technology and then our solution very interesting. So, am I concerned? The short answer is no. But like you said, we definitely want more people to talk about us. And for the community out there, if if there's any social media influencers, either on YouTube or podcast, or through other medium, just help us, reach out to them and then tell them about Horizen and tell them to get in touch with us, and if these people, the influencer, have the right audience base, we are interested in working with them. So that's it.
Great. And the last question is, do you have a potential customer that want to utilize the sidechain feature at launch?
Absolutely. And these are the ones where I went into in Rowan as well, into the not so, or the more opaque business development discussion. Yes, we're absolutely working with structuring deals right now with customers, or call them design partners at this early phase, that are for sure using or looking to use Zendu for their own applications. I can tell you that with certainty that Horizen Labs has just recently kicked off one of these projects in the gaming space. We need to find a better name for it than just the game chain, but so for sure, absolutely. And over the coming weeks, we'll be making more announcements of the specific projects that are kicking off with it, with the tech. But yeah, it's going to be an exciting few weeks and then months ahead of us.
Great. So those were not the 3, but the top 5 questions. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Remember, we do this every...
Angie, this is Rob. I just wanted to add on to a little bit about that, about other parties wanting to use the sidechain and developing. Because one of the things is there's nothing. So we built this system that is enabling a lot of people to benefit economically, whether it's exchanges or nodes or other types of things. And the sidechain structure, the way that we built it, is actually something that can be the hugest economic benefit for software developers out there, because the software developers are able to develop something where they can actually get revenue from a successful and exciting sidechain. So there's nothing that says, well, the people that should be working the hardest to promote the sidechain applications and partnerships are, the Zen Blockchain Foundation team and Horizen Labs. There's literally any software developer out there that has clients or wants to do things can quickly, with the stuff that we've put together, become a Horizen sidechain implementation expert, and they can go and take what we've done and do these specific types of sidechains for their clients. So if you want to, as a software developer, as a software development consulting firm, be able to build essentially a complete blockchain application that doesn't have to go through and get exchange listings and all the other types of stuff that we do on the Horizen side of things. If you just want to develop and implement it, the sidechains are a perfect application. That's why we're working to get so many developers and hackers there, because not only is it interesting from a development standpoint, but it provides another path for people to have economic success, to make money from the Horizen side of things. So I don't know. I expect that the work that we do on the ZBF side of things, and even possibly the Horizen Labs things, is going to be dwarfed by the independent software development firms and consulting firms that are going to be implementing sidechains for other folks. And so we certainly don't want to have exclusivity to this type of stuff. We want to encourage other people to actually, design full-up applications on the sidechains. So just like there's been economic benefits for miners and node hosting folks and node holders and all sorts of other people along the path, this opens up another one, and we should really be encouraging that. And certainly we're leading the way with the Lambo registry and other types of things, and we have a head start. But this is a new and exciting part for people who have experience with blockchain and get it to be able to develop and implement quickly. Sorry for the interruption, but I just wanted to say that. Thanks, Angie.
No worries, Rolf. I think that, that's awesome comments, and totally agree with that. I think we all agree with that. So I guess that's it for today. Very interested Weekly Insider. I think that there was a lot of good content today from all sides. So thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Also, remember, we do this every Thursday. We see you here on Discord, on YouTube. Stay tuned and have a great rest of the day. See you all soon. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.